We are on our 8th month of the IDF's genocidal attack on the people of Palestine, and I am truly just lost for words. My faith in humanity is hanging by a thread. Obviously, this conflict reaches much further back than the awful events of October 7th. Palestinian people have suffered at the hands of the Israeli government for decades, but this is just... it's beyond anyone's imagination. I've donated what I can afford to relief. I make sure to talk about this with my friends and family. I share on social media. I've written to my representatives, but I still feel just utterly useless. I'm sure you all know my stance on the importance of art, but I really want to emphasize it in this video. There is only so much that can be portrayed by numbers, by statistics and dates. We can have all the facts of an event, but the humanity of it and how we empathize with it, that comes from art and that comes from storytelling, whether that be music or poetry or painting or writing, whatever. If you took history in school, you'll know how important it is to analyze art and song to get a full, rounded, colorful view of that moment in time. It's part of our exams, and I want to shine a light now on people who may, decades down the line, have their work studied to understand this moment in time. Not all these artists are political in their work. They don't all have protest songs, but what they all do share is a love for their homeland, because there's so much beauty in Palestine and Palestinian culture, and that needs to be celebrated. Any revenue made on this video will be donated to the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. So if you can share this around or like it or comment it, just something that can boost this in that algorithm, that would be so appreciated, because that's just a simple way we can get a bit more money going to aid where it's not a financial burden on either of us. So we'll get into this. This is 8 Palestinian artists to add to your playlists. The first artist I want to talk about is Nia Bouti, and what a beautiful voice she is. Nia is classically trained. She studied at the Conservatorium van Amsterdam, where she got a master's degree in music, and that level of technique and expertise, it totally shines through her music. That the way it's composed is just truly masterful. She blends traditional Arabic sounds with jazz and other contemporary styles to create pieces that are really hypnotic, and they're backed up by these incredible vocals. She has such a skill. She uses her voice as an instrument, not just for storytelling, and it's so captivating. Nia posted something last month that really rings true for me, and I think rings true with the purpose of this video. And it said, "Art does not rise above humanity. Art cannot be separated from humanity. Art, regardless of how abstract it is or not, comes from the deep human soul that is nurtured by emotion. Therefore, art is an emotion, and emotion is human. Art must be human." My personal recommendations from each of these artists will be linked in a playlist down below, so make sure you go ahead and check that out if you want. Next up, we have Matari, who is an artist who's residing in America but has a Palestinian and Brazilian background. Very talented young man, has won the Lennon Songwriting Contest 3 times, and he explores a range of pop-centered genres. He's been consistently very vocal online about what is happening. His videos sort of debunking Israeli propaganda and what we hear in the news have been incredibly helpful, especially for me. And he's really harnessed the platform that he has to bring information to the people. Now, this track will already be on the playlist, but I just want to take a moment for his 2020 track, Yallah. So good. Not only is it just a banger, but it's a real anthem for Arabic people. It encourages them to take pride in their roots and find strength and lean on their community and persevere. I personally don't have any sort of Middle Eastern heritage, but I can imagine for the people that do, it'd be an incredibly empowering track. And so if we could share that around, that'd be great. Now, for my fans of R&B artists like SZA and Rosalia, you are going to love Zeyn. She is a Palestinian Jordanian singer with a truly angelic voice, and she has a lot of talent in bringing her heritage to the forefront of the genre and creating a real feature about it. If you like the Colours sessions, you will adore hers. As a Westerner, I've always been so in awe of Arabic voices and the techniques used, because I can't even fathom how you would begin to make those sounds. It's just so dynamic and beautiful. I know obviously when you translate lyrics, you lose a lot of nuance there, but even with the translations, Zeyn's lyrics are so introspective and vulnerable, and she says things in a way that I would just never have the poetic mind to say in that way. And she has a gift in that department. She's determined to bring Arabic music to the forefront of the industry, and I'm so excited for her. I think she's got a great future ahead, and I can't wait to watch it unfold. If you haven't heard of 47 Soul, now's your time. They are a collective that have coined a new style in itself. They've called it Sham Step, and it's where hip-hop meets electronica and then is fused with Arabic melodies. It's very captivating, hard to not bop along to, and they've really been making waves in the festival circuit. 47 Soul were actually booked for a major festival here in Australia called Womadelaide, but their invite was withdrawn over safety concerns due to the current climate. Now, obviously, I don't know the full details of what went on, but what I can say is I think Womadelaide's statement as to why they were pulling them was very poor and didn't explain much. And that was a sentiment shared with the band when they made their own response statement. I just think that was pretty shitty. And I think it should be a given that festivals go above and beyond to create a safe environment for artists that need the platform, especially when they're representing an oppressed group. So if we can give 47 Soul a whole lot of love and support, that would be really appreciated. All right, up next we have Bashar Murad, who describes himself as the Palestinian Lady Gaga. So that's the vibe we're going with here. And you know that I love my things a little camp. He sings in both Arabic and English, so there's something there for a lot of people to understand to the fullest and appreciate. What stands out to me is Bashar's knack for really creating strong grooves through a strong leading bass line. I think his song Wild West is a great example of that. But even just beyond the sound waves of it all, Bashar's music is deeply political, and it's been a real delight to discover. He has a track, Ana Zalama, which was produced in collaboration with the United Nations, and it talks about the development of gender roles in Palestine. He's got another song called Cleffi Samed, which is in collaboration with an Icelandic band, Matari, which is a call for freedom of Palestinian people. Bashar is also openly gay, and he talks about that. And obviously that would have been a real battle growing up in the Middle East, where unfortunately a large area is plagued with homophobia. I just think he's an extraordinary individual and someone that deserves the spotlight shone very brightly on them. Next up, we have a man that was described by The Guardian as if Joe Strummer came back as an angry young Filipino-Palestinian American. Doesn't that just get you excited? I actually personally have been listening to Hany El Khatib for a long time. I think his 2020 album Flight was killer. It's really hard to actually define this artist. He sort of defies all genre boxes. There's rowdy blues, there's summertime indie, there's electro, there's like skate rock, but it's also him, and it's so cool. On his Spotify, they actually describe Hany as a purveyor of visceral, blues-racked, punk-spiked, soul-warped, knife-fight rock and roll. And he is just that, but also so much more. Sorry if you can hear the rain in the background. Winter has finally come to Perth. Hany is one of those artists I would just love to just sit down and have a chat with. Because I mean, on top of his own solo music, he is the co-owner and director of a label. He was the creative director of Huff. I just feel like he'd be infinitely interesting. Highly, highly recommend checking him out. For all my fans of the iconic Boiler Room sessions, you're gonna love Sama Abdulhadi. She is a badass DJ and queen of the Palestinian techno scene. She is a force to be reckoned with. From childhood, she had this real insatiable drive, which she accredits to her Palestinian upbringing, saying, the first thing you learn as a Palestinian is that you're probably going to die. You have to engage a little bit extra because life could be over in 10 minutes. She also comes from a strong activist family. Her grandmother, who was a leading women's rights activist, was actually expelled from Palestine by Israeli forces after she organized a sit-in hunger strike. Her beats are hypnotic. I found myself just sort of like bopping along at my desk for God knows how long. I particularly love a track that she did with Tom Morello Yes, that Tom Morello. It's called On the Shore of Eternity, and it makes time not feel real. It's crazy. Oh, she also played for the national football team. She's fucking awesome. Last but certainly not least is Eliana, who has a voice that makes you just stop in your tracks and forces you to really connect with what she's singing. Eliana was the first ever artist to sing in Arabic at Coachella, which is just an amazing thing to say that you've done. And she's really on the rise. I mean, Rolling Stone named her in their last year's list of 25 artists on the rise. She's an artist who thinks about all aspects of her work. Her music videos are just as captivating. They showcase a side of contemporary Arab culture that we in the West don't really get any view of. It's empowering and it's bold, and I think it's something we should all be very excited about. I mean, just go and watch her music video for her song Ganani and tell me that that's not a face that we need to be seeing everywhere. And that was the 8 Palestinian artists that I think need to be on your radar. Please go check out the playlist. Let me know what you think. If you have any Palestinian artists, not just music, like writers, poets, visual artists, whatever, please share in the comments below. I just want as much love going around in these comments as possible. I feel like by myself, I can't make much of an impact, but together, voices amplify. And remember, all revenue made on this video is donated to the PCRF. Thank you so much for being here and spending time with me. If this is our first time meeting, hi, I'm Honor, and I really love talking about music. If you want to be part of our little gang here on YouTube, we would love to have you, and all you have to do is subscribe. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Please keep Palestine in your conversations. Write to your representatives. Don't let this fall silent until there's freedom. And I will see you very soon.